It was the kind of night where silence feels alive. The rain had stopped an hour ago, leaving the streets slick with mirror-like puddles that caught the orange glow of the streetlights. My small apartment sat on the edge of the city, the kind of building where the walls are thin, the paint peels at the corners, and the neighbors play their televisions too loud. I was half asleep when it happened, the faint sound of something tapping against my window. First I ignored it. Probably a tree branch, I thought, brushing rain off the glass. But then the tapping came again. Rhythmic. Intentional. I turned in bed, eyes squinting at the window. The curtain swayed slightly, though the air in the room was still. In shadow. Shape. Someone was standing just beyond the glass on my third-floor balcony. My heartbeat kicked into overdrive. I reached for my phone to call security or maybe the police. But before I could dial, the shadow moved closer. Two pale eyes shimmered faintly in the dark, like moonlight reflecting off water. And then the latch clicked. The window slid open, though I hadn't touched it. The girl stepped in. She looked about my age, maybe 20. Her skin was faintly luminescent, a subtle glow radiating from beneath the surface like phosphorescent sand. Her hair, long and silver blue, flowed as though underwater. And her eyes, they weren't human eyes. Too large, too deep, with concentric circles of color that seemed to shift like nebulae. I should have screamed, should have run. But there was something about her, calm, almost fragile, that froze me in place. "Please," she said softly, voice trembling. "May I stay here, just for the night?" Toothed the girl from the stars. Took me a moment to find words. "Who are you?" I finally managed, keeping my distance. Her head tilted slightly, like she was trying to interpret the question. "I am." She paused, eyes lowering. "I was not supposed to come here." Her voice carried a strange cadence, melodic but uncertain, as if she were still learning how human speech worked. She looked around my small room, the unmade bed, the half-empty coffee mug, the scattered books and computer cables. Then her gaze returned to me. "It is warm here," she said, almost to herself. "And quiet. I thought it would be safe." "Safe from what?" I asked. Her answer came after a long pause. "From them." Before I could ask who they were, she stepped closer, and I caught a faint metallic scent, like ozone after lightning. Her skin wasn't just glowing, it was changing color slightly, shifting between soft blues and violets in rhythm with her breathing. "I cannot stay outside," she said. "They will find me through the air." "What air?" I asked, confused. She looked at me as though weighing whether to trust me. Then she said something that sent chills down my spine. "The atmosphere here, it listens." 3. The hidden visitor. Despite every rational thought screaming that I was hallucinating, I nodded slowly and stepped aside. She entered, her bare feet silent on the old wooden floor. The air seemed to hum faintly when she moved, a low resonance I could feel in my chest more than hear. When she sat on the edge of the bed, the glow under her skin dimmed. "You can sleep," she said. "I will not harm you." I didn't sleep. I sat in the chair across the room, watching as she curled up like a child, one hand clutching the edge of the blanket. For the first time, I noticed faint lines running along her forearms, like etched circuitry glowing beneath her translucent skin. Not tattoos. Something else. Hours passed. The rain started again, tapping against the window in a slow rhythm. And then, just as dawn began to paint the sky gray, she spoke again, her voice distant. "My name is Lyra." I said nothing. She continued. "Where I come from, we do not have names. But I heard yours when you whispered it into the device by your bed." She meant my phone. "You listened to me?" I asked, startled. Her expression softened. "I didn't mean to." Sound carries differently here. It is loud, but beautiful. For secrets from the sky. The next day, Lyra stayed hidden while I went to work. I didn't tell anyone. Who would believe me? I told myself that when I came home, she'd be gone, that maybe I dreamed the whole thing. But she wasn't gone. When I opened the door that evening, I found her sitting by the window, watching the city lights flicker. She'd found one of my hoodies and was wearing it like a cloak, her pale fingers tracing the seams as if fascinated by the stitching. "You came back," she said quietly. "I live here," I said. "You're the one who's not supposed to be here." "I know," she whispered. "But they're still searching." I sat down on the floor beside her. "Who's searching?" She hesitated, then looked upward through the ceiling as if she could see the stars beyond it. "My people," she said. "The ones who made me." Took me a moment to process that. "Made you?" Lyra nodded. "I am not like them. They created me to explore worlds they could not walk upon. But I wanted more than data. I wanted to feel wind, touch water, to hear voices that mean something." "So you escaped," I said. "Yes." Her eyes shimmered with something like sorrow. "But they do not allow escape." 5. The signal. Over the next few days, we developed a fragile routine. I brought food, though she barely ate, surviving on something unseen, perhaps light or air itself. She asked endless questions about Earth. Why people laughed when they were sad, why we built walls between us, why we pretended not to be lonely. And at night she dreamed. I'd wake to faint light spilling across the walls as her body pulsed softly, illuminating the room with slow waves of color. Sometimes she whispered in her sleep, strange words, melodic and haunting. But then came the night everything changed. I woke to find her standing at the window again, hand pressed against the glass. The city outside shimmered with static, streetlights flickered, and a low vibration filled the air. "They found me," she said, voice trembling. Before I could respond, a beam of pale blue light cut through the clouds far above the city, piercing the night sky. It wasn't a spotlight or a plane. It was something vast. "Wait," I said, moving toward her. "Who found you? What is that?" Lyra turned to me, her face pale and eyes wide. "They sent the retrieval. They will erase everything I touched." "Erase?" She nodded. "This building. Me." The beam grew brighter. 6. The choice. "What can we do?" Yes. My heart pounded so hard it hurt. "There is only one way," she said. "I can mask your signal, hide you from their scan. But it will cost me everything." "What do you mean, everything?" She didn't answer immediately. Instead, she reached out and touched my hand. The warmth from her skin seeped into mine, and for a moment I saw flashes behind my eyes. Stars, endless blue worlds, the hum of machines older than civilization. "They built me to sense life," she said softly. "To measure it. But when I met you, I learned to feel it. That is why they fear me." "Lyra, don't." But she was already moving toward the window, raising her hand. The circuits under her skin ignited in brilliant light. The beam outside pulsed. I felt my vision blur as if the entire room was shaking apart. Then silence. When I opened my eyes, the light was gone. The night was still. Lyra stood motionless, glowing faintly, and then the glow began to fade. I rushed to her, catching her before she collapsed. "You're safe now," she whispered weakly. "They won't find you." Her voice broke. "But I can't stay." 7. The morning after, I don't remember falling asleep, only waking up with her still in my arms. Cold, still, almost translucent. For a moment I thought she was gone completely, but then I saw a faint shimmer of light flickering inside her chest like a dying star. I begged her to stay, told her she didn't have to go, but she only smiled faintly. I am returning, she whispered. Not to them. To where sound becomes light. I didn't understand. I don't think I ever truly did. Then she looked at me, eyes filled with that same infinite depth that had terrified and comforted me all at once. You showed me what it means to belong to something imperfect. Thank you. And with that, the glow faded, and she was gone. No sound, no flash, just gone. The hoodie she'd worn lay folded on the bed, the faint scent of ozone lingering in the air. The message weeks passed. Told no one. The city returned to normal, or maybe it had never changed. But sometimes when I walked at night, I'd catch strange flickers in the sky. Not planes, not satellites, pulses of light in slow, deliberate rhythm. One night, unable to sleep, I sat by the same window where she'd appeared. I turned off all the lights and stared into the darkness. That's when my phone buzzed. No signal. No number. Just a single notification. I can still feel you. I stared at it for a long time. Then another message appeared, glowing faintly against the black screen. Don't be afraid of the listening air. It remembers love. And then the phone went dark. 9 years later I moved out of that apartment eventually. Life went on. Jobs, people, the rhythm of days blurring into each other. But I never stopped wondering who she really was. If Lyra was her true name, or just a human word she borrowed for comfort. Sometimes late at night, when the rain starts to fall just like it did that first evening, I feel the air vibrate softly like a breath beside me. And once, I swear I saw her reflection in the window again. Faint, luminous, smiling. Not a ghost. Not a dream. Something else. 10. Epilogue. The listening air scientists later reported strange atmospheric anomalies around that same month. Tiny disruptions in satellite feeds. Unusual electromagnetic waves centered over the city. They called it a rare auroral interference pattern. But I knew better. Some nights, when the sky turns that same electric blue, I go outside and look up. The stars seem to blink in a rhythm only I can recognize. 3 pulses, pause, 2 pulses. The same pattern she used to hum when she dreamed. And sometimes I whisper into the air, half hoping it carries beyond the clouds. Lyra, are you still there? No answer ever comes. But sometimes the streetlights flicker, and for a second I feel warmth against my skin, like starlight brushing the edge of memory. That's enough. Because I know the truth now. The thing she tried to tell me before she vanished. The universe isn't silent. It listens. And sometimes when it finds someone who listens back, it sends a whisper across the infinite dark. A whisper that feels a lot like love.